what it means to be an American. America is freedom, and freedom is special and rare.
We, the people of this great nation.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
We, the people of this great nation.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. I am going to talk about probably a very sensitive subject, a subject that people keep asking me about, and I have to go into detail. This will be the first and last time I'll talk about this subject. And it all leads back to the Proud Boys. For those of you who don't know who these are, this is a group, an organization. They actually call themselves an organization. They call themselves a fraternity of guys that love guns, love freedom, love America, and love drinking beers. This is my problem. They're showing up to all these major cities, ranting, stop the steal, along with Alex Jones, along with a group of people. And I did a little digging, right? I did a little digging in the organization. Aside from the fact that I know the actual chairman, the organization itself is no different than BLM. Well, actually, it is different than BLM, but it's no different than Antifa. It's just a right extremist group. That's pretty much when you break it down to it. Okay, so they talk about how they go to protect the streets from Americans getting hurt. Okay, first and foremost, I still haven't seen a video where they're defending Americans. I see more videos of them defending themselves, and they wouldn't be in that situation if they weren't even there to begin with. Now, as a Republican, as a conservative and a human being and an American, I like to see the system play itself out. I like to see the justice system do its job, the judiciary system do its job. I like to see what ends up happening in these elections. I don't just jump to a conspiracy theory. What these guys have done is basically labeled themselves as a group that's patriots of America. Yeah, if you have to label yourself part of a group, you're not really a patriot. Because I consider myself an American. Nothing more, nothing less. I am an American. I don't have to be part of a group to prove that. And if the time comes whenever I have to hit the streets as an American with other Americans, I will. But the fact that this group is constantly pretending as if they care about the Constitution and freedom of speech and freedom of all these freedoms that they claim to want to protect and value, they've got to get a couple of concepts in their head. We live in a democracy where violence is not really the solution to our problems. There's been several violent incidents occurring with them. Not that Antifa is any better, and they categorize Antifa as like a non-organization. I honestly believe they are an organization. But nevertheless, I follow them, and I'm looking at the pictures they post. And usually when people are doing a positive thing, they don't gloat about it. They don't post pictures or videos of themselves and proudly saying, kicking some Antifa ass or beating down and intimidating Antifa. That's a scare tactic. That's not something you're proud of. If you're really out there trying to protect Americans, you would try to be separating people from each other. You wouldn't be engaging in violence. Violence leads nowhere, and that's the reality. Violence just leads to more violence. And in all reality, I just feel that having to label yourself as a group, instead of just labeling yourself as what you are, an American, it's just it just doesn't jive with me. The group itself, I've analyzed it. It's very similar to the strategic moves of all these organizations that claim they're doing something, but it's really a profit organization where they're consistently going to places, pretending, or I guess, involving themselves in all these situations. And then what happens is they start selling merchandise. They get followers and people think they're doing all these positive things. And then they start enjoying the fame that they start getting, right? So what's happening here is that they're getting attention and they like it. So they continue to go to these events. And again, it's no different than any other event because, for example, the Mega Million March, there was a lot of people that just showed up that they just wanted to march and right afterwards wanted to go back to their hotel room, and they were doing a simple protest, similar to what happens when BLM does their protests, and then it gets violent at night when Antifa breaks loose, but that's not the original group that went to protest. The ones that were nonviolent, the ones that were the ones that were there to actually promote what they believe in and were nonviolent and were not rioters, they usually go home. And my issue, the whole issue that I find with the Proud Boys is I saw an interview where they're talking about that they were defending the streets for 12 hours straight. I didn't see one video of them doing that. Not one. Then they'll post on their page, they'll post, this is why we go out into the streets. When they post a picture of an old lady out with an Antifa guy pulling her flag away or whatever. But where were they? They were nowhere. So, and then they're promoting pictures of guns. They're promoting pictures of their merchandise. So it just seems to me it's just a fake movement pretending to be patriots, I guess. I don't know what they're really defending. They're saying they're anti-Marxist. They're as if this country is going in a direction where democracy's out the window, and we have representatives, we have senators, we have congressmen, we have plenty of people that can do their job. And believe me, this is a country that will not allow communism or socialism to come in. And I'm sorry if I turn a couple people off on this. It's just I don't foresee the issues that people foresee when it comes to the way the world is working. Yes, I think under a Biden presidency, this country is going to be a disaster. I think economically, we're going to make the worst decisions. We're going to end up empowering. China. Iran's going to be a huge issue, and I don't think Biden's going to be tough on any of those issues. I am a hardcore Trump supporter. Since 2015, I've been supporting Donald Trump. I still support him. I think his policies are amazing, and he thinks outside the box. He's unlike anything we've had in office. That being said, I cannot, I just want to drop this subject because it keeps being brought up to me, and I'm tired of having to talk about it just because I did one interview with him, with the chairman, and I just wanted to clear up the whole racial part because everybody keeps saying they're racist, and then he says, oh no, well, you know who I am, I'm Cuban, I'm black-skinned. Well, the thing is, this is where issues happen with these groups. When you have a lot of chapters, as they call them, you have groups in parts of the United States that you don't know what they're doing, and they could be racist. So that's why I've never joined any group or never been a part of anything. I am just an American. And if they were really standing up for America, they would just call themselves Americans. They can just go out there in groups, protest, and if they have to protect people, they could protect people, but they don't have to label themselves as anything. I mean, it just seems like it's just a giant attention-grabbing scheme. They use a lot of intimidation factors I don't like. As much as they criticize Antifa for their actions, they do similar activity. They do attack people. I did see a video. The woman had a knife in her hand, but I mean, she got hit with a helmet across the face. This is a woman. This is a woman that these people are hitting. This isn't just anybody. This is a woman. A man should never lay their hands on any woman. And she was really not like approaching them. She was kind of walking away with a knife in her hand. Yes, she stole an American flag from somebody. Okay, I understand that. But nevertheless, there was law enforcement around. We do have policing. People apparently think that the police officers are told to stand down. If the police officer sees somebody getting hurt, their job is to protect us, and they will do so. They will do so. They were doing it in the hotel rooms, protecting people that were there for the Trump mega rally. But this entire movement that's going on, it's not helping anyone on either side. It's not giving comfort to anyone on either side. It's misguiding people. And it's opening an avenue of people starting to take matters into their own hands. And then it's going to get real chaotic. I mean, for God's sakes, the group was fighting amongst another Republican group within each other's groups. Like they were having a little battle with each other, like and arguing amongst each other. I mean, this is what happens when you create groups and you start separating Americans from one another and putting themselves in different categories or in different groups. It's not good for anybody. We're all Americans. We all want the same thing. We don't want our freedoms to be taken away. But at the end of the day, if the moment comes when they try to do something like that, Americans are not going to go, okay, we're Proud Boys. No, we're going to stand up and we're all going to say we're Americans and we're not going to stand for this. That's just my whole view on this whole thing. And I'm going to leave it at that. This is a very short podcast. I just wanted to bring this topic up because it keeps being brought up in my channel, and I keep getting emails about this, and that's my stance on it. I look the way I look at the Proud Boys is the same way I would look at any other left-wing extreme group as a right-wing extreme group. Whether some people might get offended by that, it's okay. It's fine. You don't have to agree with me. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm simply stating an opinion. That's my opinion, and I'll stand by it. This is how I roll. I mean, this is the way that I have been doing this podcast. I've tried to keep it real. I tried to keep it 100%. I don't see anything beneficial from having a group of guys going on into the streets, chanting, arguing, instigating, and then putting up videos, posting videos how we get these pussy Antifas, and then yelling in the streets, fuck Antifa, fuck Antifa, that you're inciting violence. I mean, that's the reality. Yes, what Antifa's doing is wrong. They should be getting arrested. We should be holding the mayors, we should be holding the governors accountable for this. But I mean, at this point, nothing has happened yet. So for people to already start all this without actually seeing anything play out is silly. It's just silly to me. I mean, I find it ridiculous. And forgive me if I'm offensive towards some other people. Maybe I'm an old school conservative. I don't consider myself an old school conservative. I feel like I'm pretty modern when it comes to my political views. But again, I don't want violence. I think both sides don't want violence. Unfortunately, the Democrats don't condemn it. They just stay silent about it because they don't want to accept they don't want to upset their following. Their following seems to be, I'm not gonna lie, the left is the more violent side. But again, there's no difference between these two groups. I mean, they're hitting the streets, and they're hitting the streets in a violent way. So regardless on how you look at it, whether one is looting and rioting, the other one's fighting and fist fighting with people on the street, it makes no difference. It's all the same thing. It's all illegal. So again, I mean, it's just my point of view, and I just think I condemn them both. I just think the both organizations need to chill out. I understand that they're enjoying the fame, they're enjoying the cameras rolling and the attention they get from the news outlets, and they and their look, and they all dress up for the occasion, wearing their fraternity clothes or whatever they want to call it. I understand the pride that they have, but you could easily march wearing an American flag instead of having logos and a bunch of things, and then going after you go on a show talking about what you did, fighting for 12 hours, fighting off Antifa for 12 hours, which there's no record of it. There's only records of early on them defending, I mean, I guess fighting, because it didn't even look like defending it. I didn't see anybody getting assaulted. I just saw two groups of people fighting one another. But nevertheless, I mean, you go protest, okay? and then the day after you're selling merchandise. You're trying to sell your merchandise. And I mean, it just, to me, it's all a business, and it's no different than BLM selling merchandise, their products. And I mean, it's no different to me. They're doing the exact same thing, just representing the other side. That's all it is. Again, guys, remember, if you want to reach out to me and you want to get on my show, or you want to talk to me, you can reach me at arepublicannation@gmail.com. I'm on all major platforms. You can also go to therepublicannation.com. You can go to Instagram, The Republican Nation. You can go on Facebook, A Republican Podcast. You can also go to, I'm proud to say, Parler, The Republican Nation. You can also go to Rumble, The Republican Nation. I'm everywhere. It won't be hard to find me. Just shoot me a message, and I'll be more than glad to have you on my show. Guys, have a safe and great night. Take care of yourselves. God bless you. God bless your families. And God bless this beautiful country we call America.
We will make America great again.